Hello and welcome into another episode of The Near Fall. I am your host, Nick Whitwer, here on WFRV Plus, and it's Thursday, so we also have our new champion, Ben Newhouse, with us. Ben, how are you today?
I am back. I am doing great. How about you, Nick?
Oh, we're good. We're
leading
good.
the helm, huh? We got our fearless leader out.
Yeah, he's still out for the holidays. This is the last show for now that I'll get to run it. Tuesday was probably a little rough, but it's, we made do. We got it done. Look, let's start with AEW. This is the first we're talking to you since a new title reign has begun with AEW's
World's End. Yep, I knocked off you, right? You would have been the defending champion.
This was, I think, the closest anyone's come to having a successful title defense so far. It came down to a tiebreaker.
I cannot believe we have not had defending back-to-back champions. It came down to a tiebreaker. I'm happy to win. You know, we got a good pay-per-view, and I got the win, so can't ask for more than that, Nick. Beat you. Couldn't get better.
Oh, yeah, beating me. That's what everybody wants to do around here, apparently. All right, let's get in the World's End a bit. Let's start with that tournament, the C2 tournament. We kind of knew going into it, had an idea of how it might play out.
Yep.
We talk a lot off screen, but you know, your final four: Okada, Takeshita, Moxley, and Fletcher, all solid matchups.
Yeah.
What was your take of each semifinal?
All very good matches, like you touched on. You know, anytime Takeshita and Okada face off, I feel like there's this level of hype that's almost unreachable. With the two's history, so it was a good match, but it feels like they're pushing off something bigger between them as far as match goes. Down the line, Fletcher and Mox probably stole the show. Obviously I expected a good match. I don't think I expected it to be quite what it was. That match, probably the best match of the tournament. And it was hard to top, what was it, Fletcher and Speedball. So that one was great. And leading to the finals with Mox and Okada.
Mox and Okada,
so
which I ended up calling. That
you did.
Happen. Now I got the result wrong, but I got the matchup right.
I did not expect Mox to be in the final, let alone win it, just because he was on a downfall, just lost the championship, and then the crowd got behind Mox, so that makes it easier for them. You know, they were probably planning on a turn there, so it makes it easy when the crowd gets behind him that early, and then Mox ended up winning. So and that match was also
Death Rider's turn has been coming for like almost 6-7 months now.
And so now I know we've always talked about when will they turn on each other. That's gonna get pushed down the line now too.
Now I feel like that it's not gonna happen. He just won. The Death Riders picked up their rematch win on Dynamite last night, so I don't think we're gonna see them split anytime soon.
And it'll be Mox will be good both, kind of as this heel / face. I'm curious about the rest of the Death Riders, of how is it still gonna be that like mean, angry, violent demeanor, but yet still has the crowd behind him.
Because what I get from that group is the story was never about that title. And kind of in his promo after he won the Continental title, saying, "Oh, it's about the fans, it's about the wrestling."
Yeah,
I kind of get the sense that their main goal now has become a little more obvious. It's to just make everybody else better and on the edge.
Right, and that almost indirectly completes that Mox storyline of when he first became world champion, hid the title in a briefcase and said, "Hey, all of you guys are not up to par. We need to raise the standard." And this almost kind of caps that in a way. He becomes national champion. And then, he says afterwards, this is kind of what we aim to do when we set it out. So,
yeah. And now you see, we'll get into the Fatal 4-Way here in a bit, but you've seen all of those guys are at a top level now. The big three, as MJF called his three potential opponents. So you've seen everybody on the AEW. It seems like the stakes have kind of been raised for everybody on the roster. So the Death Riders look like they've accomplished what they set out to do. Maybe they still do turn early because they've accomplished that goal.
Yeah. And touching on, the elevation of everybody, that was part of the storyline with Mox, but that also is on Mox's shoulders with wrestling every single night, elevating, Kevin Knight, Speedball, all these guys to bring them up to that level. So overall, it was really well done.
All right, and then let's get into what else is going to happen with the Don Callis family now. We already know the history between Okada and Takeshita. He took out that screwdriver.
Yeah.
Clearly, that wasn't meant for Okada. It was meant for Fletcher, who was looking for it.
They kind of said that Fletcher was the one who hit it, and Okada must have overheard and used it. So you got a little beef there between those two now, too.
Do you think this turns into like a triangle of tension, or?
Yeah, that's kind of what I initially thought too with the predictions, because I had Fletcher winning, and that's kind of where I thought it was going anyway, with like this triangle of tension within them, and not just Takeshita and Okada. So yeah, I could easily see that, especially with the rise of Fletcher lately. So yeah, should be good.
And Okada still has a belt, right? He's got the.
Which one is it?
International,
Is it the
Intercontinental title? So maybe they have a triple threat down the line and a split of some members of the Don Callis family. Yeah. Just real quick to finish touching on the tournament. Don't feel too bad about not expecting Moxley to win, because our Mr. Devin over here had Claudio not only in the tournament but winning the whole thing. So he wasn't even a part of the final couple.
He kind of predicted the Death Riders, though.
He did predict the Death Riders, though, so I guess he was right in one aspect. But you don't get points for that.
No, there's no brownie points there.
Moving on, we kind of touched on the Fatal 4-Way in that match. That's probably the other big match to talk about. MJF won.
Yeah.
We kind of expected him to win. We, across the board, all three of us here at the Near Fall picked MJF to win that match. You got the tiebreaker. You
picked
with the pin on Joe. Is that match just kind of exactly how you thought it would go? Or where do they go from here?
Yeah, in a way. I mean, there was always an aspect of Swerve and Hangman, whether their partnership would last or whether they would kind of beef in that match. Obviously, it turns out that, and especially with what we saw in Dynamite, that might last a little while. Even though we all predicted it with MJF, it was still kind of a shocker, right? Joe just won the title.
It was still a real good moment. I
right.
mean, but they almost booked themselves to the point where they had to have MJF win by him cashing in.
Yeah, the way it came about is obviously why we all picked MJF, right? I mean, we kind of saw the writings on the wall there with the storylines, but you know, with those four in a ring together, it was still anybody's come out as a winner. So it'll be interesting to see MJF's run, right? We just had a decently long Hangman run. Joe interrupted that. Now MJF interrupts that. Will we get a lot of title changes, or will we get another long MJF run? What do you think?
And it seems like this run, because of the backing MJF now has, I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be a face, but it seems like he might be more face-ish this time around.
Yeah, he's always that in between, because he's always going to be popular. They can do whatever they want with his character. People aren't going to boo or hate him like overall. So
initially I had talked on Tuesday about that match, and I had said that his next opponent, they probably set up him and Hangman, because he kind of stole the win from Hangman.
Yeah.
He caught Hangman there at the end and then took Joe. Obviously Joe has a right to the rematch. Hangman has a right to be upset about getting caught. Yeah. But we saw Wednesday, Swerve is the only one that I feel like doesn't really, I don't want to say not belong in the title picture, but doesn't really have a say in, hey, I should have that title.
Yeah.
But we saw on Dynamite last night that now Kenny Omega wants to throw his hat into the ring at possibly another world title run for him.
Yep. Interesting with all this, his past year of, you know, very scary health issues. Omega mentioned that he's going to be appearing a lot more in 2026. That's good news for AEW fans, obviously. So it'll be curious to see whether it'll be Omega, Hangman, Swerve, who's the first legitimate title challenger for MJF. Because MJF in 2 weeks will challenge or face Bandito for the world title. Not saying
I don't think Bandito's going to take it from him. I think that's just it's almost like one of their eliminator matches.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's...
It'll be a great match.
Yeah.
But is there a chance
Bandito will put on a show? He's put on a show all year.
Yeah, all year he's been fantastic. So I'm looking forward to that match. But then again, it's who emerges first as that official, actual challenger to the title.
And we might get to start to see some beginning steps to that Dynamite set up. Obviously, you have the Ops taking on Hangman and Swerve next week on Dynamite in as we determined and found out, a unsanctioned lights out match.
Yep.
No rules. Obviously, there's probably going to be some sort of interference in that match, whether from Joe himself or their like security guys that they have running around following them now. I don't know
them,
where that came from and started all of a sudden, but it just out of nowhere it came up during this whole feud and the title. And who do you think gets that first shot? I mean, obviously Bandito gets it, but it's the first real threat to that title is going to be one of these three guys. There's 4 guys with Omega included.
Yeah. I mean, they showed on Dynamite there's no shortage of challengers. You know, with them lining up Hangman and Swerve continuing this partnership, I don't see it being one of them. That'll come, you know, early like spring 2026 probably. So I think it's going to be Omega.
I think Omega might get the first like shot at it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like, oh, maybe he could win, but I don't think he's going to I don't think he's going to win that match.
Yeah.
I think it's going to end up being Joe will be the first real threat to win it again. He'll get his rematch.
Yeah.
Ops will get involved. Does he win? Maybe, maybe not. And then it moves on to, okay, that's had enough time for Hangman and Swerve to kind of, their partnership to kind of go back to the rivalry they had. And whoever comes out of that might end up being your next champion.
Right. Yep.
I think he'll face Omega, but Omega will lose. He'll face Joe, and he'll keep the title over Joe, and then he loses to whoever comes out of it between Hangman and Swerve.
Yeah.
When they inevitably turn on each other again.
I mean, I could see rapid changing of hands with Omega. You know, Omega, then Swerve, then Hangman. You know,
that would be cool too. I mean, we've seen all these long title runs in both companies, both big companies, I should say, with WWE and AEW. You know, the two we focus on the most here.
Yeah,
that it would be almost a nice breath of fresh air to see some quick changes. Not quick to the extent of like a hardcore title or a 24/7 type title, but maybe just 1 month at a time, and it changes and changes and changes. So that way, you never know what to expect. You don't know who's going to win. You don't know who's going to retain. I like that idea. All right, we'll take our first break here, and when we get back, we'll talk some SmackDown and Raw for the start of the new year.
Yes.
We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Near Fall here on WFRV Plus. Ben is with us again. Ben, hello. We just wrapped up a lot of, you know, what's going on with Dynamite, what's next for MJF and his title reign. Let's talk about someone who I've constantly been on the other side, the meme-ish side of calling her a Mercedes Hogan because she always wins.
Yep.
But that's not what's been happening lately. Mercedes Moné suffering loss after loss after loss, it appears.
Yep.
Losing to Chris Statlander and now losing her TBS title last night to Willow Nightingale.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have it offhand, the titles she's lost. She might have lost the Ring of Honor one.
She's got like 17 titles.
She still has
no idea what the name is.
She still has a lot, but I think she's lost like 4 of them so far. Surprising in a way that Willow beat her. I was pleasantly surprised with the finish. You know, sometimes in those matches we see like a quick roll up or something sneaky happen where the challenger gets the win, but Willow hit a power bomb and then pinned her cleanly.
And that's kind of been the theme. Like Statlander beat her pretty clean from what I remember too. So
that's part of the downfall.
She's losing all these. She's losing it in the locker room. So they showed that during World's End of her kind of going a little crazy. Obviously, I think the most obvious thing this is going towards and setting up is, you know, she's going to have this redemption arc and she's going to win the world title.
Yep.
She's going to come back and beat Statlander, who had beat her before.
Yep.
Maybe on a little bit of a face run.
That is what I was just going to say. Yeah, you know, you lose all the titles, you get some momentum behind her, the crowd gets behind her. You know, as much as people might have disagreed with how much titles she was getting, I think a lot of people would like to see her as world champion. You know, I think she deserves that. She hasn't been world champion in AEW yet. It's something that is going to happen, you know, by the end of 2026. She's gonna be AEW Women's World Champion. And the interesting thing about the Willow match, Moné beat Willow a year ago for that title.
Yeah.
So it was a little redemption for Willow. Willow's on a great run right now.
Full circle for both of them.
Yep.
And now, I mean, Willow is double champion.
Yeah, they said it was the first AEW woman to hold 2 AEW titles at the same time.
Okay.
I mean, they've had confusion on that in the past with what was it,
well,
Bandito?
again, and Mercedes has a bunch of weird belts,
Right.
so I don't know
They
what
did.
is and
They
what
did
isn't.
say AEW championship. So
Yeah.
that's what they said. So yeah. So Willow's deserving.
Yeah, good for. Did they say first woman or first superstar?
First woman to hold two.
Okay, because you brought up
AEW.
Bandito.
Yeah. Well, there was confusion on it a couple weeks ago. Where they
About whether he had or not.
Yeah.
Okay, I get.
And maybe it wasn't Bandito. I forgot who the confusion was, but they said like first time holding two major championships, and it was like 4 other AEW wrestlers have. So, but I think this one they got it.
It seems like there's going to be some good stuff coming in 2026 for AEW. We can get into 2026 stuff later in our last segment, but now let's switch over the Raw and SmackDown and the WWE world. Starting off, wasn't going to talk about it too much with you, but you did bring it up in the break. Carmelo Hayes beat Ilya Dragunov for the U.S. title.
Yeah.
Dragunov gave Carmelo Hayes the second opportunity. Ciampa had kind of interfered in their last open challenge. Good sportsmanship after. With Ilya putting the belt on him, and it looks like they are ready to push Carmelo Hayes to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, the internet world has been pushing for Carmelo to get more of a push, and man, those two are some of the brightest stars and youngest stars in WWE. You know, Carmelo's definitely worthy. Dragunov is putting on match after match. Every time he appears, those matches are must see.
It seems like he just came back, but he's been doing this since like October.
Yeah, and I guess that's what my initial
3 months.
You're right. Yeah.
So, it's right where it should be, but he's been doing an open challenge, I think, every week for almost 3 months now.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's in honor of John Cena or that's just something they want to do with the U.S. title.
Yeah.
Will Carmelo Hayes continue that? Maybe. We'll see. I don't think he has to.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to do this every week, but we'll see.
They're fun spots. I mean, it doesn't have to be every week, but when they get an open challenge, you never know who the challenger is. It's a fun surprise. They're typically good matches. Chris Jericho on the way.
WWE names for 2026. But I had mentioned on Tuesday, I'd gone over and talked about this match. And I said that now this opens the door for Ilya to go for more of a world title push.
Yeah.
And while he may be on SmackDown, I don't know when they're going to potentially do a draft if they decide to.
Yeah.
Or just move guys because they can just move guys whenever they want. They had a really, really good rivalry in NXT. I don't know how much you watched of it at the time, but Ilya and Gunther.
Oh, yeah?
They put on such a good rivalry, good, solid stronghold matches. Getting to see them on the main stage do it would be awesome.
Yeah.
For casual watchers, I had said on Tuesday, like, maybe you hadn't seen this before. They put on such great matches when they're in the ring together.
I mean, I would look forward to that. That's my style right there. That would be a great rivalry. And, Dragunov, a lot of people behind him. They're really pushing that heel for Gunther. So, yeah, I mean, if you're correct on that, that would be...
I really hope
really
that's
good.
What we get out of this.
Yeah.
It just frees them up to do some other stuff.
Yeah.
Moving on, let's talk about that World Heavyweight Championship. Now, it's not for the world title yet because CM Punk has the title. Gunther will get there. CM Punk, Braun Breaker, The Vision, January 5th in this upside down Stranger Things crossover with Netflix. They haven't really said what the crossover will maintain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I talked Tuesday. I hope it's just not like the zombie matches that The Miz did or LA Knight and Bray Wyatt in that midnight pitch black match. I hope it's not stuff like that. I imagine that's what we are going to get. We're going to get something in that terms.
Sure.
I'm not really sure what it means, but Punk and Breaker, world title match to kick off the start of the new year.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really ask for a better match for that, right? I mean... Breaker's very talented, is in a good position storyline wise right now. Punk, who has Punk defended against yet? Do you know offhand?
Don't think anybody, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, either way, this
At
is
least
a great.
It doesn't come to mind.
Right.
It wasn't much of a threat if he did.
Yeah, but no, I'm looking for this towards to this match. I mean, we and you talked this morning. You think Breaker has a chance?
I think he's got a slight chance. But what I could see, and if it goes with my theory of Austin Theory, being a hitman for Seth Rollins, because they made it clear that Paul Heyman didn't know that Theory was the masked man.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to try and help Braun Breaker, but accidentally cost him the title match.
Yep. And then down the line,
when Seth comes back, and they can tease this whole like he's just going to keep making mistakes until Seth Rollins comes back and can get his revenge on the others of the Vision.
Yeah, you walked me through that this morning. I'm like, I got really behind that. I'm like, that would be the perfect storyline for that. It just
makes too much sense. Yeah. That's why it won't happen, because it makes too much sense. On the other side of things, on SmackDown, we have a 3 stages of blank, according to Devin, the last time we talked about this. Look, Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, this needs to come to an end.
Yeah.
I said it on Tuesday. It needs to come to an end with a McIntyre win.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would kind of compare this to, Swerve and Hangman, where it doesn't need to come to a complete end for the very long haul, but, it does need to wrap up now.
Drew needs a win, or he's just a jobber in the main title.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have they fought for the title?
Yeah, I think he's lost 3 times.
Yeah. So great match, great style. We're both looking forward to it. We both have...
I don't want to see them start with like a normal match, like a normal standard match. Like make them all stipulations, make them all different stipulations.
Right.
And then it needs to end with something that has a definitive ending. Like you brought up the I Quit match earlier this morning, or a last man standing match has been my idea for it. Something that there is that definitive winner.
Yep. Yeah, I think we get for sure a cage, whether it be normal or a blank in a cell. Yep. Just because that makes the most sense. It's going to go to a third fall.
Yep.
That's my downfall with these types of matches. But yeah, I'm hoping for, table match, something where it's just not all pins. So Falls Count Anywhere would be like the pin, table match, I Quit match. We need variations in these 3, like you said.
I get you. Just real quick before our break, any thoughts on a possible Randy Orton heel turn on Cody interference?
In that match?
I don't think so, but I do think we get heel Randy Orton versus Cody at some point.
I feel like you've been telling that to me for like
I know, but that's because they set it up way too easily for it to happen. It's got to happen.
Yeah, it's got to happen.
All right. When we come back, we will take a look at our wish list for 2026, whether that's AEW, WWE, just stuff we want to see throughout the rest of this year. And welcome back to the Near Fall here on WFRV Plus. I'm Nick Whitwer. Ben Newhouse is here with me. What we didn't say it at the start, but Happy New Year, of course.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
With the new year comes new expectations for both WWE and AEW.
Yeah.
Let's go through who we think some superstars that might break out this year are. We'll start in AEW.
Okay.
I've talked about him a lot, personal connection to him. I'm going to say Ace Austin.
Yeah.
And it's not just a homer pick. Based off his matches that he's had with Ricochet, that he's had with Fletcher when Fletcher was the TNT champion.
And in TNA.
And in TNA, all his stuff there. People have seen what he can do. He's been able to showcase it.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see him capture one of those titles, whether it's the TNT title or the national title. Or maybe he ends up in next year's C2 tourney and has a good showing, and there maybe doesn't win, but has a good showing.
Yeah.
We're going to see him do more of what he can do at some point this year.
I like that. And it's not just in-ring talent for him. To me, it's like the little things he's shown, backstage promos, things like that. He's already good at it, and there's room
He's always got an ace up his sleeve.
Yeah, so he's got the good character. He's got that stuff already built in. So there's a clear room for being that breakout star. To me, I'll go on the women's side in AEW / Ring of Honor. I'm going to go Billie Starkz. She's like 20 years old. She's with Athena. There's our built-in storylines there, whether she's going to knock off Athena for the Ring of Honor title, the longest reign. She's super talented in the ring. She's pretty good on the mic. I think there's so much room for growth, and there's easy pathways for her.
I could see that. Now, do you think that's a situation where she maybe turns her with her friendship on Athena?
Yeah, that's
maybe
what I mean.
Steals that title from her.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
yep.
That's definitely easy
because
storyline.
Athena's going to go to the main roster. Yep. She's going to lose that title soon.
Well, I thought maybe Mercedes, they were going to do like a TBS versus ROH thing.
They could, and they could do that first. Yeah.
Well, Mercedes doesn't have that title.
Oh, yeah, but
not saying she couldn't get it back, but
yeah. Right.
That's the direction I thought they were initially going to go. But I do like your idea with Starks there. Over in WWE, I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first this time.
Oh, me go first. Who do I want to go with? Let's go with. I'm gonna settle on Obafemi.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know Devin's huge on him. I'm pretty big on him too. He just looks like it.
He looks the
He's
part.
got the look.
Has a great style in the ring. You know, the entrance is there. There's all these. He's the quote unquote 5 tool dude.
Yeah.
So like,
not to bring Vince McMahon into it, but Vince McMahon always said that if you had it, you would be a star. And Obafemi looks like he's got it.
And whether you've seen him before, because like I didn't have a whole lot of, you know, history watching him, but with the match at that Saturday night main event,
that was just a short,
and that was a short
9-minute
match too. Yeah, and that I was sold on. I mean, I already was pretty high on him, but that sold me on there. So.
All right, I'm gonna pick another big guy. He was supposed to. Rumor had it he was supposed to play a big part in War Games. And a lot of War Games changed because he had some dental work done. I'm going to go Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, I love
me the dude Fatu. Is a monster, just like Oba. The guy has it. He brings the energy on the mic, in the ring.
Yeah,
I think he was supposed to be cleared towards the end of November, which would have been past War Games. I hope he's one of like the surprise returns at the Rumble. This is a good tie into what I wanted to talk about. I think he could be saved until that point in the Rumble. I don't know if he'll win the Rumble, but maybe he'll set up something with like Oba or Brock Lesnar or some.
Yeah.
Set up something for him because he needs to be on TV.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and like same with some of the other people we've been mentioning. He's already mixed in with those key storylines there. It's already set up for him to succeed going forward. So it's easy. Fatu, I mean, among the people we mentioned, he might be the most talented in-ring dude. He's a monster.
And he doesn't have to necessarily do bloodline stuff either if they do bring him back. So we'll see what happens there. But this has been another episode of The Near Fall. I think all three of us are back next week on Thursday. So we should have a good show then. And one last time, Happy New Year. Keep your shoulder off the mat. We'll see you next time.